We back with another one, another video. This your boy CJ Goodfellow with the Boxing Clinic. Now we talk about HBO today, man. Is they pushing, certain fighters? They selling fear, they selling hype, and it was the question, has always been there, like the last few years. You know what I mean, about them, pushing other fighters and selling particular style of fighters now, and it has really come to a real all-time high right now. I think it's peaking out right now. I don't think it can get any more higher than this. But when you say that, it gets higher. For years now, man, they've been pushing certain fighters, man, in the way they commentate, in the way they call the fights, and swaying the bias of a lot of fans. You know what I mean? It comes to the point where, push come to shove, I don't have to watch that telecast. Me personally, I don't watch it. If I get the fight on Sky or Box Nation, whoever carrying it, or a Spanish network, I'm watching that. It's just the point. Even sometimes with the Showtime or the PBC commentators, even though they harder to find, you get that as well. And you got Andre Ward saying, after the Danny Jacobs thing, they out here selling fear, but we not buying it. He's absolutely right. They're out here selling fear, and these are wolf tickets. They make you to believe that Golovkin's the big bad wolf. He's the greatest thing since Hopkins and Hagler and Carlos Monzon in the division. He's Mike Tyson, and they sell you that stigma. And like I told people, man, Mike Tyson, was the youngest heavyweight champion. He was a great knockout artist, a great fighter. And one thing about him, he was a very smart fighter. But he was a special type of fighter. You know what I mean? He was special. And I didn't see that in Golovkin from the jump. From his old fights when I watched him as a pro. And I figured that's why they held him out so long and they protected him. They selling him like he's some type of big bad wolf. He's going to blow your house down. And, some fighters that he stepped into the ring with on HBO, they truly believed that. And they was defeated before the fight even started. But those were bottom feeders. Curtis Stevenson, Daniel Gill, Martin Murray, David Lemieux. These were fighters that all got beaten before. Matthew Macklin, Gabriel Rosado, who really had a strong showing for Gabriel Rosado. These are guys, who not good movers. Upright fighters, can punch. Maybe some of them can punch, but are one-trick ponies. These are not upper echelon type of fighters. And for years, HBO was selling that, Floyd Mayweather, when he left the network, he was scared of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao will do this, Manny Pacquiao will do this, will do that. But when they met up and they did the commentating for the fight, they couldn't even call their bias no more. They couldn't even find a reason, for them to hate anymore. Floyd was brilliant in the ring. Floyd beat him down. And they had to agree with that. They couldn't even sell a robbery. You know what I mean? Sergey Kovalev. They made him seem like a big bad wolf coming in before the Andre Ward fight, even though he had the hiccup versus Isaac Chuapa. I can't remember his name. I apologize for butchering his name. They wanted you to buy the persona that he was a crusher. His power was unworldly. But one thing in boxing, you can nullify power. And if you have anything behind power, you're in trouble. I'm not saying that Kovalev didn't. Kovalev is a wonderful boxer. I think that part of his game is overrated. But they were selling like he's going to crush Andre Ward. He's going to knock Andre Ward out. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But when it came down to it, he knocked him down. But he couldn't close the show. And Andre Ward hung around that fight. And he stole it up under him. Because he never could cut the ring off. He wasn't that big and bad. And you have to understand that Andre Ward hasn't been in a high-paced, high upper echelon fight since the Super 6, and that was many, many moons ago. So he was catching a cold fighter. But once he got lukewarm, Andre Ward targeted in, and he honed in, and he took control of that fight, contrary to many people's belief. Most people, want to score the fight for the aggressor. Chocolatito, I don't think he's hyped at all. But they were selling that he was so feared, he was so big, he was so bad as a small little warrior. The Thailand guy wasn't having it. And I think he won that fight. It just wasn't the fact that, Gonzalez wasn't good as advertised. He was. He just moved up in weight, and that was his biggest nullifier, And you see HBO only put on certain type of fights, Until they seen Vasily Lomachenko was able to knock guys out and get more aggressive, you know what I mean? Now they want to give him fight days versus lower competition after the Nicholas Walters fight. They didn't really want to appreciate his boxing technique until he really started to plant and sit down his punches more and knock people out. They didn't want to put on his fights. It was another guy he was trying to fight before Nicholas Walters, and Bob Arum couldn't find a date for him. Terrence Crawford, he had a one versus before the Ricky Burns fight, he had a fight versus another born fighter. They didn't want to put Terrence Crawford on. The only reason Terrence Crawford got the John Molina date is because Danny Jacobs couldn't fight Golovkin in December. Didn't want to fight Golovkin in December. Now they want to showcase Terrence Crawford because now he's knocking people out. He's a little bit more exciting. So HBO wants those type of high action fights because that's what the casual fans want. They want to make personas and sell fear and sell all brawls at any cost. They don't want to they don't want the boxing purist thing. You know what I mean? Unless it's a high demand fight. And that's what they selling and what they pushing. That's what their network is about now. It's not about boxing as a purist. But we gone.